Good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, February 9th, 2021. I'd like to call the City of Homestead Special Call City Council meeting to order. It is now 5 p.m. We'll read the COVID statement into the record. This is a hybrid meeting which allows for the public to participate by calling in via Cisco WebEx. Calling in Cisco WebEx or physically appearing. Please note that due to COVID-19, there will be limited occupancy available in the council chambers. Face coverings must be worn by attendees at all times. In addition, the public will be subject to temperature checks and COVID screenings will be required. This meeting can also be viewed live on the City Access channel or City website at cityofhomestead.com. The City will be accepting public comments as part of the meeting, which can be emailed to publiccomments@cityofhomestead.com. Public comments are limited to 300 words per comment. The comments should include your name, address, and your comment, and may be submitted until 30 minutes after the end of this special call meeting and will be included in the minutes. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Roth. Councilwoman Avila. Here. Councilman Shelley.
Here.
Councilwoman Bailey. Here. Councilman Fletcher.
Here.
Vice Mayor Faircloth Stigers. Mayor Lawson.
Here. Thank you. A couple of housekeeping items to both staff, the public, and council. When you're speaking, please turn on your mic, even for a quick vote or seconding the motion. This plexiglass doesn't help the recording process or the clerk or those listening online really have a hard time sometimes tracking who voted which way. And the reverse of that is if when you are not speaking, if you would be sure to turn off your mic, it helps the audio for others greatly. So with that, our first item of business is tab 1, car number 3104, a memorandum of agreement with the Department of Health for point of administration / distribution. Mr. Pearl, you want to read the resolution into the record?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. This is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving agreements with the Florida Department of Health for the implementation of a vaccination distribution site, providing for implementation, providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Madam Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The purpose of these agreements is to potentially allow the City of Homestead to operate a point of distribution, otherwise known as a pod, at a location here in Homestead where COVID-19 vaccinations may be administered. In order to become a pod, the city needs to register with the Miami-Dade County EOC, which we have done, and to enter into an agreement with the State of Florida Department of Health, which are the agreements before you tonight. There are two types of Department of Health pod agreements. One is for an open pod, one is for a closed pod. We anticipate opening what would be deemed at first an open pod because it would be open to the public. However, by current state guidelines, the vaccines would be going to those over 65 and healthcare workers. A closed pod would be for an identified limited group. And this is not to suggest that the city would be administering the vaccines. In addition to these steps I mentioned, we would also have to enter into a memorandum of understanding with a medical provider who would be responsible for the vaccine administration. Our attorneys have already reviewed what would likely be an MOU similar to the one between the City of Doral and Baptist Health should the city go forward with this. Our intent is to continue to work with Miami-Dade County to provide a local site, if needed, to facilitate those over 65 who want the COVID-19 vaccine to get the vaccine. The city could potentially incur some cost, but we fully expect any cost would be covered by FEMA and/or CDBG funds. And basically, the city's responsibilities would be a location. And when I say pod, I don't mean like a trailer. It would be in a facility. Tables, chairs, IT equipment, office equipment, some staffing, personnel, clerical staff, 1 or 2 police officers, potential EMS costs for an ambulance. We don't know these costs yet or exactly how it would work because different deals could be worked out with the medical provider. And the hospital or medical entity, they provide the PPE, the hand sanitizers, the clinical staff, physician, vaccinators, pharmacy runners, thermometers, refrigeration, signage. So again, these agreements, staff is recommending at this time that the mayor and council approve the attached resolution, authorizing the city manager to enter into agreements with the State of Florida Department of Health in Miami-Dade County, allowing the city of Homestead the ability to operate both an open point of administration or a closed point of distribution within the city limits in response to a public health incident, public health threat, or other significant public health emergency in Miami-Dade County.
Thank you, Madam Manager. Just to clarify, this positions us to be ready to go at such time as the supply becomes available. This does not guarantee supply, but being an approved location when supply is available.
Yes, but also contemplating that we would have the MOU with the medical provider.
Right. Any questions or comments from council? Councilwoman Bailey.
I have one question. Thank you, Mayor. I know that, well, first of all, thank you for looking into this. It's obviously something that we need desperately. Have you heard anything about how big that medical provider would need to be? Like how many doctors, nurses, clinical staff they might need? I know that we've probably reached out to quite a few of the larger ones, but I'm just curious, is there an opportunity to reach out to some smaller ones?
We could absolutely reach out to smaller ones. And the reality is, because the site is relatively small, we would anticipate maybe 3 or 4 stations. So there wouldn't be a need for a lot of vaccinators. There is definitely a need for a physician, but it would be one. So there would not necessarily be a lot of medical personnel that would be needed there. And if something with Baptist Health didn't work out, we could absolutely look to other providers. And as the mayor alluded to, we think that once the vaccines start to really come out, that more and more providers will be available.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any further from council? All right. Would someone like to move this for approval tonight?
Move it.
Moved by Councilwoman Bailey,
I'll second it.
seconded by Councilwoman Avila.
I just wanted to point something out, and I get a little direction. The resolution as contemplated allows for the manager to take all steps necessary to implement. So that would be the medical provider MOU. Is that something that you'd want brought back to you or not brought back to you? If this is set up, she has the authority to just get it going. And for the case of expediency, I think that's probably appropriate. I just wanted to make sure that you were aware that that's what we're authorizing.
Thank you. Any concerns from council with respect to that, or is the direction full steam ahead, however and with whoever is qualified to let us get into that business, so to speak?
Yes, sir.
Thank you all. All right. Madam Clerk, let's have a roll call vote.
Councilwoman Bailey,
Yes.
Councilman Roth,
Yes.
Councilman Fletcher,
Yes.
Councilman Shelley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Avila,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Faircloth Staggers,
Yes.
Mayor Losner.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. Before we adjourn, I wanted to ask the manager, I know that the state had a faith-based type program to get churches involved in being points of distribution, and I know that at least 2 local area churches had vaccine for up to 1,000 participants in total this past weekend, and by all accounts, they were very successful, and as far as I know, only three doses went unused in Homestead this weekend. So in that regard, what have we done to perhaps supplement our future programs with working with other churches to avail themselves of that program as well?
Yes, Mayor, I can respond to that. And thank you for the contact, because what we were able to do is to reach out to the state. We weren't aware of that, what had transpired over the weekend, but we had heard about it. And as you said, just about 997 vaccines were administered, which is great. And we followed up directly with that individual who helped coordinate that. And she explained to us that what we can do is reach out to local faith-based churches and send an email to them suggesting the local churches and also a potential site, which we will do. There's another one of these programs, another 500 that's going to be administered, another church in Palmetto Bay, and some of our staff will be going up there on Thursday to just see how the operation runs, so that we'll have a similar site and potentially could do that here, because that would be just wonderful if we could do it. But she made it abundantly clear to us that it's a statewide program. There's hundreds of churches before us, so we're going to get on a list, but we're going to go forward with that as well.
Very good, thank you. I know the feedback I've gotten that everyone who can get on that line is just so grateful after the hiccups with calling in to the county or the state or going online. Thank you. Did you have anything further, Madam Manager, for this meeting tonight?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Attorney, did you
Mayor,
need...
if I may?
Yes. Okay, I'll get to you. Did you need to ask for an executive session, Mr. Pearl?
I did, actually, two. One, in the case of Ray v. City of Homestead, it's case number 121-CV20488. It's in the Southern District of Florida. And then another, and these are consolidated cases, it'll be a single session, but forgive me, in Camargo v. United Automobile and City of Homestead, along with Cunningham v. City of Homestead. It's consolidated case numbers 19-012744 and 19-013725 in Miami-Dade County Circuit Court. Thank you.
Thank you. Was that you, Councilwoman? Vice Mayor?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to follow up with the question regarding the COVID vaccinations in partnership with the faith-based organizations. Kate, are you aware if these faith-based organizations are aware that it's even remotely a possibility? Because I've been communicating with some of the pastors in the African American community, and they have not even heard of that. The concern is the fact that the African American community has been disproportionately impacted by COVID, twice as likely to die from COVID, but yet none of those vaccinations are being administered in the African American community. The Southeast Dade Ministerial Alliance, I think they bused some residents to Second Baptist Church to get COVID vaccinations. Other than that, some of the residents have transportation to go outside of the community. So if we can be very intentional with our approach to ensure that if we do move forward and are able to, that these vaccinations trickle into the Southwest and the African American community for those residents who don't have access to travel outside and who have been adversely impacted. So if you can please keep an eye out on that, I greatly appreciate it.
Vice Mayor, thank you for mentioning that, and we absolutely will. We did not hear about this until today, or yesterday, so we will absolutely do that. What we intend on doing is getting together and looking at all the churches in the city, and with particular regard to some of the smaller churches. I don't know exactly how the state determined which churches they'd go to first, but I think they went to large churches first. But we asked them specifically, if we had a group of churches with a smaller congregation, could we give you the list of all those churches for one potential distribution? And they said, yes, absolutely. So we will absolutely take that into account.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, if I might add, the information I had from the two churches who held events this weekend is that at least one of them heard about it through news media. I'm not clear on how the other one heard, but they took the initiative and followed up, and certainly that was the intention of the state faith-based program, was to get into those areas where folks don't necessarily have access to the internet. All of these appointments were made by telephone, so certainly that state program is geared to disadvantaged communities. We have no way of knowing whether or not other churches locally have applied. This program came to our attention because of two very successful local events this weekend that were done at the, initiated by those congregations. So everyone's got a fair shot. It's all we can do is get the info out to them and help them at this point. And as the manager said, this was, I was not aware of that program until I was contacted, I think, on Friday. Well,
okay. Okay, that's good information. So I guess we can communicate and convey that to the churches so that they can, be a little bit more proactive and get access for their congregants. So thank you for that, Mayor.
Thank you. Is there anything further? Not appearing, do we have a motion to adjourn? We have a motion by Councilman Roth, second by Councilwoman Avila. All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned.
Kate, the button wouldn't turn red.
All right, are we ready?
Ready?
Good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, February 9th, 2021, and it is 5:16 p.m. I'd like to call the City of Homestead Community Redevelopment Agency meeting to order. This is a hybrid CRA meeting, which allows the public to participate by either calling in through Cisco WebEx or physically appearing. Please note that due to COVID-19, there will be limited occupancy available in the council chambers. Face coverings must be worn by attendees at all times. And in addition, the public will be subject to temperature checks and COVID screenings will be required. This meeting can also be viewed live on the City Access channel or city website at cityofhomestead.com. The city will be accepting public comments as part of the meeting, which can be emailed to publiccomments@cityofhomestead.com. Public comments are limited to 300 words per comment. Public comments on agenda items can be submitted by noon Monday, February 8th, 2021, and will be included in the minutes. Public comments should include your name and address and can be submitted up until 30 minutes after the end of the CRA meeting and will be included in the minutes. A roll call, Madam Clerk.
Board Member Avila,
Here.
Board Member Roth,
Here.
Board Member Fletcher, Board Member Fletcher,
Here.
Board Member Shelley, here. Board Member Bailey,
Here.
Vice Chairwoman Faircloth Staggers,
Here.
Chairman Losner.
Here. Thank you. Are there any deletions or deferrals?
No, sir.
Not appearing then, we have before us the minutes of December 8th, 2020. Do we have a motion for approval?
Move it.
Moved by Councilwoman Avila. Do we have a second? I'll second it. All right. Any further discussion on the minutes of December 8th? All in favor? Aye. Are there any opposed? All right, very good. Next item. New business, car number 3095, Sips Coffee and Roasters Business Incentive Grant. Mr. Pearl?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this is a resolution of the Board of the Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving the allocation of Business Incentive Grant Program funds, approving grant agreement, providing for implementation, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Ms. Driver?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sips Coffee Roasters, a Miami-based business, will be opening a second location and moving their headquarters to historic downtown Homestead at 128 North Chrome Avenue. Sips owners have already negotiated a 5-year lease agreement with an option to renew with the owners of the building, Cal Creation LLC. and execution of their agreement is contingent upon the CRA Board's approval of the $60,000 business incentive grant. Staff recommends that the CRA Board approve the attached resolution authorizing the Executive Director to enter into an agreement and award SIPS Coffee Roasters $60,000 from the Business Incentive Grant Program. We do have a pre-recorded presentation, and then followed by that, we have a short video which kind of will walk you through their current location. And the owner of SIPS, Gail, is here tonight to answer any questions. And then also the owner of Cal Creation is going to be present as well in support, and in case you guys had any questions for her. This is a partnership between SIPS and Drip and Dough Donuts. And the owner of Drip and Dough is available is he on the phone or on the? He's available virtually for us if you guys have any questions regarding the donuts. And lastly, before we play the presentation, they did bring samples. So there's coffee and donuts right to the left of Councilman Shelley for you all to avail yourselves to. So with that said, we can play the video.
Roll tape.
Hi, I'm Gail Azotto, co-owner of Sips Coffee Roasters, a coffee shop and roastery in the heart of the city of Miami, and we are excited to expand our operations into the city of Homestead. Being born and raised in Miami, having a business in the city of Homestead is full circle. When I was younger, I spent countless football nights cheering my high school team at Harris Field or going to the Speedway with my dad. Homestead has always been a place of fun and escape, and we can't wait to be part of this community as a new location for fun, escape, and of course, coffee for the next generation. Our vision in Homestead is an expansion of the brand we've already created and have gained publicity with. Having been featured in the local news as well as national coffee publications, we are South Florida's only Black-owned coffee roasters. Our first coffee shop opened 2 years ago, and the Homestead location will serve as a second location and the new headquarters for SIPS, a space with indoor and outdoor seating, on-site coffee roasting, and tasting room experience. It will be designed to be a Homestead landmark. We've also partnered with Drip and Dough Donuts, Miami's fastest and hottest growing specialty donut restaurant, to serve freshly made donuts at the space. Because of course, what goes better with coffee than donuts? Remember the fun and curiosity of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? We do too. And we plan to create memories just like that for our customers. As an active coffee and donut making space, you're not just a customer when you enter our space, but you're a front row audience member to the sights, smells, and of course tastes that are oh so delightful. Our space is as unique and as special as the community we serve. With a coffee roaster designed in Turkey, where coffee roasting originated, to an icing station where donuts are glazed, sprinkled, and all things good. We also will double down on our commitment to other food entrepreneurs in Homestead by offering grab-and-go food products for sale that focus on Homestead makers. From the Wynwood Walls to the famous Philly love sign, art and murals in areas of commerce attract visitors and grow economies. We plan to commission our outer wall to represent our love for our community and business, a place of pride and landmark in Homestead for our landmark business location we are creating. We are passionate about what we plan to bring to Homestead because we are passionate in all of our commitments. Coffee shops have long been the beginning of communities and the center of where people go to connect. Don't believe us? Well, the now highly visited Panther Coffee in Wynwood, Miami first started in 2010. This is 2 years before what we know as Wynwood Walls and the galleries became a public destination. It was the late Tony Goldman, Wynwood's premier developer, that granted Panther Coffee the space because he believed that coffee shops were a place that people gathered, and 11 years later, so much has gathered around this Panther Coffee space. We envision the same for Homestead and our contribution to the development of downtown Homestead. Our growth and development is the community's growth and development. We estimate a total project cost of $435,000, with 37% of the cost directly associated with the improvements to the building itself, a building that has been part of the City of Homestead for decades, and which we hope to continue into the next decades of Homestead as the flagship location for our business, Sips Coffee Roasters, as the gathering space for the community, and as a destination for people outside of the community of Homestead to discover and explore. The economic impact of the CRA support at the $150,000 level returns recurring annual wages to the local Homestead labor force and new economic activity to the area that exceed the initial contribution tenfold. It will also attract other food and beverage businesses to the downtown Homestead area. Our ask is in line with the commitment other CRAs in South Florida have made to grow their communities through coffee shop-centered locations. In 2018, the Fort Lauderdale Village CRA awarded Circle House Coffee $187,000 to renovate and establish a coffee shop in their Flagler Village neighborhood. Flagler Village in Fort Lauderdale is very similar to downtown Homestead and underwent a rebirth and urban renewal. Circle House Coffee was essential to being the center of that growth, with a place for the community to stop in, gather, and, of course, know their local barista. We at Sips Coffee Roasters want to be that place for the City of Homestead and hope that you, the CRA, agree. We thank you for your consideration and hope that you can see our passion for Sips Coffee Roasters Homestead and our past experience supports our commitment to bringing this to life.
Thank you. Was any further presentation? I know the owner is here. Was there any other formal presentation?
No, sir.
Okay. Council? Questions, comments? Councilwoman Bailey?
Thank you, Mayor. I had a couple quick questions and a couple comments.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi.
Okay.
First of all, I love this proposal. I think that it's a great location. I had a couple questions regarding the outdoor seating. Are you considering doing it in the front or the back, or both?
Of the,
You gotta, there you go. If you're the outdoor seating, are you considering to put it in the front or the back of the building?
in the sidewalk area, and obviously with Losner Park opening, hopefully in the next year or so, to be able to take advantage of people coming in, either sitting in the front sidewalk seating and then utilizing the park as an area to gather as well. We really find that coffee shops, like we mentioned, like what they've done in the village of like Fort Lauderdale, and even our current location, which is in the heart of city of Miami on 20th and 7th Avenue, that area where we are now on 20th and 7th Avenue, if you're familiar, is the line of the health district, which is Jackson and Wynwood. And so before we were there, it was not where someone would necessarily sit down, but we worked with the building that we were in, and that video you saw was commissioned by our landlord to talk about our space. And we put seating outside on the sidewalk, obviously with approval from the city of Miami, because that's a feat in itself with sidewalk seating. And we really encourage people to sit down and really change the atmosphere of that area. So we would hope that it would be Main Street focused. With that, we've been able to increase traffic to our restaurant and hopefully increase traffic walking up and down that main area.
Right, no, I definitely agree with that. As far as your mural, I definitely see your background in branding. I love the idea. I think it's great for that area. And yeah, that was my main question about the seating. I think it's a great fit for that area. Thanks for bringing it to Homestead.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to congratulate you on your success with your first location. Thank you for considering our downtown Homestead for your second location. I appreciate the opportunity to make this place home for your business. And I think that this is a fun and exciting opportunity for our residents to enjoy something new and fresh. And I support this item. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Shelley? Councilman?
Welcome.
Mayor?
Thank you for choosing Homestead as your second location. My only concern was the mural part of it, and if somebody can clear up where the mural will be in conjunction to Losner's Park and the future plans that, if I think are correct, were an area that a restaurant might have been planned to go, so the mural might get covered up in the future.
Yes, I'm assuming it's that side wall where the restaurant was going to be, Kamitra, correct?
That is correct. That was just an idea. It's not anything that's set in stone or concrete. It was just a marketing idea that Ms. Azotto and her team came up with as a way to drive more traffic into the facility, but it's not anything that's set in stone.
And also, Councilman, it would, of course, have to go through the development services process.
Right,
You know, it is an idea, as some would say, a good idea, but it would have to go through all our processes. As you said, Miami had to approve it, and we would have to approve it.
No, it's a great idea. I just didn't want them to
Understood.
go
Yep.
into that whole process knowing that eventually it may have to
Get covered up. Yep.
come down or covered up or something to that effect, because I think more signage and more creativity and more art in that area, temporarily is a good thing. It's just, I just wanted you to be aware of future plans that may, prohibit it from being there in the future. But I wish you the best of luck, and thank you for coming to the city.
singularly branded as SIPS art or mural. It's really to attract people to the city of Homestead, recognizing that we would have ownership of the wall, being the tenants there. But when you see cities like Austin, Nashville, they have the Nashville Wings, the famous Austin sign. So we are completely open to the branding being primarily Homestead, and Homestead having a significant portion of it. It was us offering up the wall as, and it works both ways, right? More people come to the location, more people will drink coffee and have donuts with us, but also more people will come to Homestead. So we see our space, like that maker space, also existing on the wall, however it fits best, and it would never be a singular, like we were putting up SIPS branding. It's really Homestead branding that we want to put on that wall.
And Councilman, if I may add, if you recall, the original design of that restaurant included a front open area of seating, which the wall would still be there that you could see.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Again, I'll echo my colleagues and thank you. I just have this gut feeling that you're going to be the nucleus for a lot of those little niche specialty type eating and drinking establishments to begin to line our downtown. I had one concern or one comment and one question. And my first comment is I hope there's a really big error in your calculations, because I see there an expense for $80,000 of impact fees. That seems to be a lot of money for a building that already exists. And I don't know if we need to, Mr. Cordino's not here tonight, and maybe that's just, and I understand some of those are county and out of our control, but that's 2.5 times what her furniture is proposed to cost for fees that just go out into this massive bureaucracy of Miami-Dade and to a far lesser extent here. Is that truly an accurate number?
That's truly an accurate number, and that's Miami-Dade County. So I saw the information from the county demonstrating that, yeah, that's an accurate number for county impact fees. All the more reason why I'm really excited and fingers crossed hopeful that we have success in our legislation, that they will continue the enterprise zone program, where the county will then be able to rebate those impact fees to her. So, but yeah, that's county.
That's astounding.
That is
I am blown away. For 2,000 square feet of a new sole proprietor, an entrepreneur, having to come out of pocket that kind of money with, I think that's far outweighs the impact. And that really brings that's very sobering for me as to what new businesses face for an existing building. I get for new construction, but we're talking about an existing building. So absolutely. And second of all, and not to echo Councilman Roth and some of the others, I like murals. We all have our idea of art. I'm really on board with your comments of Homestead branding. And even if it were Smith Park, I would be very sensitive that whatever goes on that wall be compatible with the architecture, the feel, and design of that park. And although they may not be funding it, we had this with the mural a couple weeks ago at our meeting. We've designated a board of people to serve as an Art in Public Places committee. And I would like if it goes to that, I would certainly appreciate having their input as to the artistic appropriateness of that mural. Absolutely. We had another really neat Homestead related mural on the north side of the Seminole Theater that's no longer with us, to address your concerns that people stopped and took pictures of, and it was on postcards, and it was a landmark. And if we're going to do it, I hope that it's there for a longer time than the Seminole Theater mural was there. But I absolutely support this. And
Yeah, we 100% agree.
thank you for having confidence in Homestead and our downtown to make this kind of investment here. That's very heartfelt for me. I think it's the start of something really good. So with that,
Mayor, can I just?
Yes, Councilman.
Just jump in, because you brought up something that has just disturbed me to my core. And for a 2,000 square foot building to absorb $40 a square foot for impact fees is not even unreasonable. It's just, I can't even imagine it. And Kamitra, can you, aside from what we're going to do here tonight, just for my curiosity, I'm sure everybody's sitting up here, $80,000 for a building that's already there. Can you get us a breakdown of what the county's impact fees are towards this one space, so we have an idea? Because it just doesn't seem. I mean, if you.
There's a schedule. It actually, because we have a previous restaurant, right, we have the schedule for impact fees. Their true numbers, and Miami-Dade County is very firm on their numbers. The first thing we did was actually email the impact fee office for Miami-Dade County, and it is per square foot. That $40-something is actually discounted from $62 a square foot, just so you know, because the space had already been renovated by Leanna and her business to bring it up to retail. So now to bring it from retail to restaurant is a $40-something gap. So if the space would have been completely raw, like say another building that has nothing being occupied, it would actually be quite a bit more. So it's on the Miami-Dade County website, and the actual inspector that assessed the space for us in advance and pulled film, because they pulled the building film, and was able to provide us with that cost estimate.
That just is mind-boggling to me.
And I put it in terms of how many cups of coffee do you have to sell to recoup $80,000? I don't know if you're Starbucks, it's only about 1,000, but you know.
It's a heavy investment. The mural included. We want more people to come and hang out. If more people come and hang out, then more other businesses will open next to us, and that will also be a traffic driver. We're making, we took a risk assessment of being the first mover, because we truly believe that that area particularly lends itself to a lot of the stuff you see in Coral Gables and whatnot, a walkable street area that people want to hang out. I'm from down south, not as far south as Homestead, but unincorporated Dade County out west. And we always had to commute north. And so why have people do that when the population is growing? We want people to walk and see, and hope that our restaurant starts that trend in that line.
Yeah. So if we can get a breakdown, if possible, from the county, just to, it just still is mind-boggling to me that, you know, I can't imagine the Subway that's on that same block paid $80,000 to open a Subway there just for impact fees. It's mind-boggling to me. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, I can get that to you.
Thank you. One final comment, and I want to extend a thank you to your future landlord for working with you and for the work they've done in rehabbing that building from a long shuttered eyesore to working with you to cut a deal to bring you to Homestead. So, you know, I want to applaud that group that bought and put their money where their mouths were to bring that building back to fruition, both with their dance studio and your project as well. So
Mr. Mayor,
thank you all.
Mrs. Reynolds is here. She's kind of hiding in the back because she was teaching class tonight, but she stepped out to come over just in case you guys had any questions or anything for her, but she's here back in the back.
Thank you again. Thank you for coming.
Mayor, I think Vice
Mayor, if I may.
Vice Mayor?
Yes, thank you. I wanted to extend a heartfelt congratulations to these two entrepreneurs for not only believing enough in our community to invest here, but to make this your headquarters here in Homestead. So I'm super excited about that. And just a bit of advice, I believe the craze now is to create spaces that are Instagrammable, where people can come and dine and take a picture and post that they're there. Oftentimes, well, I don't now because of COVID, I frequent places that are Instagrammable, and it looks like this can be it. So be very intentional about your design. I love the green background, the grass with the sips. That's totally Instagrammable. So that'll help you drive traffic as well. I have a question. To me, it appears as if your 7th Avenue location is more than a coffee shop. It looks like it's perhaps a brunch spot also, looking at your menu. So with this location, if we move forward with it, will it have the same menu as your 7th Avenue location?
So this location won't have the same menu as the 7th Avenue location, but it will have essentially a food menu. The 7th Avenue location is a coffee shop. There's also a roastery in the back part that is not visible to the public, but we have a strong e-commerce business, so you can also go to our website. We ship nationally our coffee, freshly roasted. We work individually with farms in Latin America, South America, and Africa, and support families and buy directly from them. So it's more than just a shop. That menu at the 7th Avenue location is an all-day menu, yes, similar to a brunch spot, because that building also supports 700 tenants of University of Miami, as well as co-working spaces. This space is really blowing up the idea of a coffee roastery and workshop, so having live coffee roasting, live donut making, which the donuts are over there as well, and then really supporting other homestead food businesses in a grab-and-go capacity. In order to accommodate that, having a full kitchen where we are frying and baking and doing all that stuff is not going to be possible, but people will be able to have essentially any meal from breakfast. I'd stop at dinner because that location does not do dinner. Obviously, people don't depend on coffee shops for dinner, but think about Starbucks and Panera, from sweets to grab-and-go items to juices and whatnot. So that menu is not going to be exactly the same, but we'll still be able to accommodate the times of day of the other location.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. I just think it's going to be phenomenal for our community, and as Mayor mentioned, it will be a catalyst to help activate our downtown. Super excited about that. Be more than happy to lend my support.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Was that it?
Mayor.
Yes. Councilman?
Hi, thank you. Yes, sir, thank you. I just want to echo my comments and my colleagues. I look forward to this supporting, the potential growth in the downtown Homestead area. I do have a question again for Kamitra. I kind of misunderstood, but did you say that there is a potential possibility that we might be able to get those impact fees reduced?
There's currently a bill sponsored by Representative Chambliss and one of the senators in the Senate that would extend the enterprise zone program. And so if that happens, then that would allow Miami-Dade County to continue to offer these incentive programs, which include a reimbursement of impact fees. The program expired December 31st of 2020. And so Representative Chambliss is petitioning to try to get it extended through 2025. So that would give us time to get some new businesses in, and they would be able to get their the impact fees reimbursed. Some businesses have taken advantage of it when it was in existence. For example, I3, they did get some of their impact fees reimbursed to them because they took advantage of the program. So it's an excellent program. We just got to get the bill passed in Tallahassee.
Well, I appreciate the information, Kamitra, and I would just implore my colleagues to reach out to their representatives to assist in trying to push this forward. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you,
Hey,
Councilman.
Mayor, I have one more comment.
Sure, Vice Mayor.
I just wanted to mention, this is how you do a presentation. Very prepared, thorough with your responses, but more importantly, you brought samples so that we can experience, well, my colleagues can experience what you have to offer. I absolutely love that. So to my colleagues, taste the donuts, taste the coffee for me, and let me know how it tastes.
However, we did get counsel tonight that we're not allowed to sample until we vote. Something about influencing our vote with a donut. I don't know. All right. Do we have a motion for our councilwoman?
Yes, I will be motioning to approve this item, but I did have another question. With regards to future mixed use, when we bring in the residential in our downtown, do you think this location will be able to, have the capacity to meet the new residents and tenants that'll come to downtown?
Definitely. Our current location is the same, about 2,000 square feet, and we accommodate, like I said, directly above us, 700 tenants, 700 people in quantity of tenants. So and then street traffic, and then parking because we have parking accommodations. So the good part about coffee shops is that they are a place to stop, sit, and drink, but they don't have the table times that restaurants do, right? You're not looking at hour and a half. They turn over quite quickly, and the great part about that location is that it's on the main street. There's parking available right in the front, like the drive-up parking that someone could street park, pick up their order. We do curbside in our current location now and go and really accommodate that morning 7 a.m. traffic, that afternoon traffic, and people sitting. And obviously with the park, that's more reason for people to hang out.
Thank you very much. And ditto on what Vice Mayor mentioned. I mean, beautiful presentation. Thank you for the samples. And, Councilman Roth, you took the words out of my mouth. I had it on my list to go over those impact fees with Kamitra after the meeting, and you made it aware for all of us, and we share those sentiments. So it's very prohibitive, and it's a shame that new businesses, small mom and pop businesses like this have to go through that. It's ridiculous. So thank you. And I make the motion to approve.
Thank you, Councilman. Is that a motion for approval? Do we have a second?
I would gladly second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Bailey. All right, is there anything further from council? Is there anyone online or in the audience wishing to speak further on this matter?
No, sir.
None appearing, we'll close the public hearing and ask for a roll call vote, Madam Clerk.
Board Member Fletcher,
Yes.
Board Member Shelley,
Yes.
Board Member Ross,
Yes.
Board Member Avila,
Yes.
Board Member Bailey,
Yes.
Vice Chairwoman Faircloth Staggers,
Yes.
Chairman Losner.
Yes,
The motion carries.
thank you. We look forward to it.
Thank you very much.
All right. Is there any further business from the board before we adjourn this CRA meeting? Madam Manager, I guess, Ms. Driver, I wanted to touch on a couple of things. If we could really quickly kind of give the public and ourselves a recap on where we are in putting some of the CARES Act dollars back into the community. I had posed the question earlier as to whether or not, well, I saw last week that the county announced an additional $60,000 for rental relief assistance, and was wondering if our local residents, landlords could avail themselves of that, or whether or not they were precluded, and is where we are in the big scheme of the continuing COVID relief efforts.
Mayor, we'll follow up on that money. I'm not sure about that money. I also saw that there were additional monies for small businesses coming through the county, so we forwarded that. But as you may recall, in addition to the programs that the board had set up through the CRA for rental assistance, when that money was used up, what we did was move some of our CDBG money. So there is still CDBG money. I think Kamitra can give us some details on that. So we are still providing help to our residents.
And that's citywide, not limited to the CRA.
That's correct. The first monies was limited to the CRA, but these monies, because they're federal, that's for the whole city. Yes.
Okay. Anything to add, Ms. Driver?
We have about enough money to fund, the award amount is up to $10,000 per business. So we have enough money for roughly about 34 grants at $10,000. We have received 28 applications in, and we've actually gone through and done first review on all those applications. Unfortunately, every single one of them was missing some documentation that we had to follow up with, so we have not been ready to approve any of those just yet. But hopefully, I know we got some information today, so we should have a couple approved by the end of this week or top of next week. But they're coming in. People are aware. We advertise through our city website. We send emails out through all of our, to all of our email contacts through the CRA. We also advertise on the city's social media accounts, and we'll do another blast. We wanted to give this a chance to see what kind of response we got and work through these 28 first, and then after we see how many of these will actually be funded, then we'll do another blast if it looks like we're slow, the applications are slowly trickling in. But the good thing is that we have some funding, and our business community is aware, and they are applying, or at least calling and inquiring about it.
In addition to that, Mayor and Council, we're continuing the food card program. I think the last distribution, if I'm correct, Anna, was last week? Last week. We'll be putting that out again and having another one toward the end of February, beginning of March.
Very good, thank you, appreciate that. There's nothing further. There's nothing further then, I will entertain a motion to adjourn this CRA meeting.
Move it.
Have motion by Councilwoman Avila, second by Councilwoman Bailey. All in favor? Aye. CRA meeting is adjourned, and we will roll into the committee of the whole meeting if the clerk and staff are ready to move forward. All right. Oh, okay. Sure. Okay, we have a mad rush to the donuts for those.
Okay, we're ready whenever you're ready.
All right. So if there's a delay in some answers tonight, that means they have a mouthful of donut. You know, the longer y'all hang out over there, the harder it is going to be for me not to come over there and join that. We'll convene the committee of the whole meeting in just a moment. And sorry, Councilman Fletcher and Vice Mayor Faircloth Staggers, I don't think anyone's going to set any aside for you all.
That's fair.
What is it, silver too?
It looks like mojo donuts.
Oh, okay.
They got a
Okay.
big sour.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't eat that stuff right now.
I'm trying my darndest not to. Okay, coffee break's over. And we'll call the City of Homestead Committee of the Whole meeting to order. Today is still Tuesday, February 9th, 2021, and it is 5:58 p.m. This is a hybrid meeting which allows for the public to participate by either calling in or through Cisco WebEx or physically appearing. Please note that due to COVID-19, there will be limited occupancy available in the council chambers. Face coverings must be worn by attendees at all times. In addition, the public will be subject to temperature checks and COVID screenings will be required. The meeting can also be viewed live on the City Access channel or city website at cityofhomestead.com. The city will be accepting public comments as part of the meeting, which can be emailed to publiccomments@cityofhomestead.com. Public comments are limited to 300 words per comment. Public comments on specific agenda items can be submitted by noon Monday, February 8th, 2021, and will be included in the minutes. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Bailey?
Here.
Councilman Shelley?
Here.
Councilwoman Avila?
Here.
Councilman Fletcher?
Here.
Councilman Roth?
Here.
Vice Mayor Faircloth Staggers?
Here.
Mayor Losner?
Here. Thank you. Madam Manager, are there any additions, deletions, or deferrals?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Our first item is the approval of the January 12th, 2021 Committee of the Whole meeting minutes.
Move it.
Have a motion for approval by Councilman Roth. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Avila. All in favor? Aye. Any nays? Thank you. Next item is the motion to place car number 3086 on the council agenda, the 2020 Urban and Community Forestry Grant Program. Madam Manager, is that you?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. The Homestead Parks and Recreation Department applied for and has received $20,000 grant from the Florida Forest Service Division for the purchase and installation of trees as part of the Losner Park expansion project. This grant requires $20,000 in matching funds, which will come from Parks and Recreation impact fees as part of the overall cost for the landscaping in Losner Park. Staff recommends that the mayor and council approve the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to accept a grant for $20,000 from the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, Florida Forest Service Division, and to execute the agreement once available and establish a budget.
Thank you. Questions or comments from council?
Do we need to read the resolution? No, okay.
Yeah, I didn't see it here in the agenda as having to be read into the minutes. I think it's pretty straightforward. We'd already allocated our portion out of the budget, so
Exactly.
it's not any additional monies. It's fewer monies that will
Saves us 20 grand, yeah.
we'll need to expend. So do we have a motion for approval?
Move it. Move it.
Second.
Give a second by Councilman Shelley. Anything further from council? Is there anyone in the chambers or online who wishes to speak on this matter? None appearing then. All in favor? Aye. Anyone wishing to be recorded as a nay? Next item, tab 3. Motion to place car number 3076 on the council agenda. Additional services related to the construction of the Homestead Influent Pump Station. Madam Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On May 17, 2017, Council awarded Hazen and Sawyer a $295,600 contract for construction engineering services during construction of the wastewater treatment plant Influent Pump Station 1. During the construction of the pump station, extensive delays were experienced due to non-performance by construction subcontractors. As a result, additional services were required from Hazen and Sawyer in order to ensure the proper completion of the project. Hazen and Sawyer's additional services were instrumental in reaching an agreement with the contractor and reducing the awarded contract amount by $234,456.69. Hazen and Sawyer is requesting an additional $91,080 in compensation for the additional services rendered outside the original service agreement. Staff recommends Mayor and Council authorize the city manager to approve an amendment to existing purchase order 172175 issued to Hazen and Sawyer for an additional $91,080 for a total of $386,680.
Thank you. Questions or comments from council? Well, do we have a motion to approve this item?
Move it.
Moved by Councilwoman Avila. Second by Councilman Roth. Or, I'm sorry, Councilman Fletcher. I'm sorry. Have that disembodied voice. Anything further from council? All right then. All in favor? Aye. Any nays? None. Motion carried. Next item is tab 4 for discussion. Car number 3101, transmission grid interconnection at Renaissance Station.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilman?
Yes, sir, thank you. As an employee of Florida Power and Light, to avoid any appearance of potential conflict of interest, I will be abstaining from voting on tab number 4, and will be leaving the meeting now.
Thank you, Councilman. All right, Madam Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On May 1st, 1974, the City of Homestead entered into agreement with Florida Power and Light for the interchange of electric capacity and energy. This interconnection is physically located at the Lucy Electrical Substation on the northeast corner of Southwest 328 Street and Southwest 162 Avenue. In order to have a more robust and reliable electrical system, the city designed the Renaissance substation with a second high-voltage grid interconnection with FPL in mind. This second interconnection would give the city 2 different feeds from the statewide electrical grid, allowing for redundancy in our system in the event one of the connections was lost. As part of their commitment to providing reliable transmission service to the City of Homestead, and in conjunction with FERC docket number ER19-2585, FPL agrees to pay for all upgrades and facilities that are required for the new interconnection. FPL will be responsible for all costs related to the design and construction of the new interconnection point. Estimated expense, $2 million, and the city will be responsible for any substation costs associated with upgrading its facilities to support the new interconnection. The new interchange service agreement will be brought to council in early 2022 upon project completion. This project is part of the city's capital improvement plan, CIP number 0207. Staff seeks council authorization to work with Florida Power and Light for the design and construction of a new interconnection point to be located at the Renaissance Electrical Substation in the Park of Commerce.
Thank you. Any questions or comments, initial comments from council? Sounds like a no-brainer to me that we get some, better capability with someone else bearing the cost expense. Certainly, I would be supportive of authorizing the continued, discussions and moving forward with this project. Council? So, do we need a formal motion or just some general consensus?
At this point, I think a consensus would be fine. We're going to bring any future agreement back to you. So just so Kate has the direction.
Council, any contrary opinion?
No, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Is there anything further for this meeting?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Council? Motion to adjourn?
Move it.
Avila.